Hi everybody, welcome back to Bobby's Bucks, where I talk about everything I do in order to harvest my next buck. Right now I got my laptop out. I'm looking at old scouting. Back in February, I walked all these new spots. I try to find new spots every year. And on the laptop, I have all these notes and spots marked. You know, in a lot of these spots, I've completely forgotten about. Right now it's September 12th. And the temperatures are starting to get a little bit more comfortable. I'm actually wearing pants. We're going to do a little bit of work in the woods today, and you know, things have just been so uncomfortable. And I just wanted to talk about a few things from how I hold on to my spots, how I go about hunting early season, what I'm doing right now. This time of year, I'm really doing a lot of shooting, and I don't, just shoot the same distance standing up in the same spot every time. I really try to mix it up, and I'll shoot long distances. I'll do a kind of like a game where I go 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. And it's amazing if you've never did that before. And the reason I don't plan on shooting 50, 60 yards, but when you do that and you come back up to shooting a deer at say 35 yards or even 40 yards, after you've shot 60 yards, it feels like you're dropping a 2-foot putt. It's a terrific way to practice. I really recommend it. But I don't stop there. I do a lot of shooting sitting down. I don't usually stand up unless I actually have to turn all the way around to say 5 o'clock or that sort of thing. Years ago, quick short story, grunted a buck and actually snort wheezed him in. He ended up walking back up the hill and taking off, disappearing. I made a phone call. I was so excited about this deer, kind of laid back down, closed my eyes. Somehow, some way, he snuck back in and snapped a twig, and I looked over and there he is, broadside. I had to turn around, spin, and make a 35-yard shot. If I wasn't practicing the way I did, I don't think I would have been able to make a perfect shot. It was right on the money, and I spun around, pulled back, shot, and did the whole thing in a matter of maybe 2-3 seconds at the most. I'll also go as far as getting my saddle on and leaning and stretching out and shooting in these really awkward positions to prevent making a bad shot in the field when it really counts. This time of year I'm also buying extra arrows. If you're able to, I would recommend purchasing a dozen is good to have. I like to have arrows ready to go in my quiver already. My arrows already have broadheads, and these arrows don't come out until I need them. I shoot all the same type of arrows. When I was a kid, I remember I had all these different aluminum arrows, different sizes. I would go and get arrows from friends and family and pawn shops, whatever I could have. Didn't have very much cash, and so I just shot whatever I could. And they all flew differently. It's important to make sure your bow is tuned up so your arrows are shooting consistently, all the same, and you really want that tight golf ball grouping. I'll leave a link down in the description. These arrows, I've been using them for years. I've killed good deer, big 200-pound deer from just a regular Carbon Express arrow. It's a very competitive price. They're right around $6 a piece. I would never recommend things that I haven't field tested before. And like I said, I've been shooting good deer just with your typical, Wolverine Carbon Express. And I'll leave a link to the arrows that I use that's in our store. This is the time of year where you want to go out and trim your shooting lanes. If you went out and trimmed your shooting lanes last year, there's going to be this rejuvenation, this extreme vigor growth where you're going to see these branches and limbs. You'll go back to shoot the same shooting lane and you're going to have 3-4 more limbs to cut. So be sure not to skip that step. The one tree stands that I'm sure to hang are the ones that I'm hiking far into, like half mile in, a mile in, if your parcels are big enough where you hunt. Those are the ones that you may even not hunt as often because it's such a hike to get out there. You can use a bike if you have to and hike the tree stand out. I like to hang my tree stands using climbing sticks. If you guys have not used climbing sticks yet, they are incredible. What an incredible tool, because you can hang your stand, prep it 18-20 feet in the air, then pull your sticks in a terrific way to hold on to a spot that you want to hunt regularly. And that's hang a big ladder stand. People are most likely not going to break those down and steal them. It's a fact of life. You're young, you're dumb. People will steal. You give them an opportunity. Say there's a tree stand, a light tree stand locked on close to the road. They're going to cut that and take it. So that's what I would recommend for public land. Now, if you're going to hang a tree stand, what we usually do is we'll hang a tree stand, a nice permanent hang-on tree stand, when we're hunting really far in. Half mile, 3/4 mile, even a mile in, We'll take our sticks out there, hang the tree stand. In Michigan, we legally can start hanging tree stands September 1st. We'll hang the tree stand, we'll trim our shooting lanes, and then we'll remove the climbing sticks. If you guys haven't used climbing sticks yet, and they are incredible. What a great tool. And it makes it harder on thieves to steal your tree stands. I'll put a video up in the corner of our favorite climbing sticks that we use. Some of those things are so quiet and so easy to use. If you use an aider, which helps you climb double the distance, you can get 20, 25 feet in the air with 3 to 4 sticks. So right around early September, we'll trim all our shooting lanes, we'll hang our tree stands, and we'll hang our trail cameras, but we will not go back and visit those areas until probably opening day. I'll be sure to change all our batteries early September, mid-September, and we will not have to change the batteries again until right around gun season. They last that long. A big mistake you can make as a deer hunter is, you love deer hunting, you get pumped up around this time of year, and so you keep going out to your deer hunting area and hiking and coming up with the ideas and building stands and ground blinds, and eventually what happens, there's so much human scent laid down that all the deer know that humans are there, and they know to only come back at night, or worst case scenario, they'll live on the neighbor's property who hasn't been back in their deer area. So don't make that mistake. Be sure to get everything set up and then don't go back. I know it's really tough because it's not very fun to not be around what you're passionate about, but if you can, I go fishing, I go hike in different areas, I'll go scout in different areas, and if you are going to hang out or walk your property for whatever reason, you got to go back out there, just spray your boots down at least. Guys, some people either believe it or don't. There is so much science that proves that scent elimination makes a difference, and the same reason why we use camouflage. It doesn't make you invisible, but it makes a big difference. So I'm a big advocate of spraying your boots down. You don't necessarily have to take, a big bath, but I wouldn't recommend putting on, some cologne or, strong fragrance deodorant. Just throw on some non-scent deodorant, spray your boots down, and then go out and do the work that you have to do, and then get the heck out of there. You can even invest in one of those card readers, so when you do go out to hunt your area, you have hours and hours sometimes to wait. They make a really small compact card reader where you can pull your card, put a new one in, get up into your tree stand, and start reading and seeing all the pictures while you wait for deer activity. It's a terrific way to hunt your property, collect your pictures, and make sure that your deer activity stays at the highest level. So this time of year, it's not too late to put in a food plot. You can always, there's something called winter rye or winter wheat. This stuff is awesome. It will grow 40 degrees or higher. You don't have to take heavy equipment out into the woods. A big mistake that you can make is, and this just happened at one of my brother's properties. We went out there and planted a bunch of seed, but when we went out there and he showed me the area, I told him right away, I don't know if this is going to actually grow or it's going to take, because there was so much canopy blocking the soil. It needs at least 5 to 6 hours of sunlight for that seed to take and grow your plot. So if that's the case, you must entertain the idea of hinge cutting these trees, letting more sun into the area. It's not such a bad thing by hinge cutting 3-4 trees and letting them drop down all around each other, because what's going to happen is, a mama doe and her fawns, or a couple bucks, several deer are going to use that area for bedding. So it's going to be a great morning stand to go out there, get in early, and catch the deer coming back into bed. Throw out some winter rye. You're probably going to spend maybe 20 bucks on a 50-pound bag of winter rye from your elevator. Try to go out to your local elevator. You're going to get the best deal. Don't use rye grass. It's not the same thing. Rye grass is not winter wheat or winter rye. We planted these food plots in August 1st, August 15th, right around there, and we re-walk them 2 weeks before your frost. Wherever you're at in Michigan, that's pretty much mid-September. We start to get frost, sometimes a couple days into October. September 15th, September 25th, that's a terrific time to plant your winter rye. About 2 weeks after that is when the temperature starts to get so low at night that there will get frost. So remember, 2 weeks before you start to get frost. So we'll plant that winter rye on all our bare patches, so no matter what, our deer will still have something to eat, and again, that winter rye will grow 40 degrees or warmer. So it'll have a lot of time to grow still. You just don't want to plant it too early, only because you want it to be tasty, you want it to be palatable for the deer. The deer will hit it harder and they will enjoy it, and it'll draw them in more if you plant it at the right time. Lastly, I just want to talk about, this is the time to no. So I had to walk to the back of my property to try to get away from my neighbor's mower, because I just wanted to mention one more thing. This time of year, I'm really kicking it up a notch with exercise and with my legs and my shoulder. I think it's important with all the hiking that we do and all the shooting that we do to really respect the wear and tear that your body's going to take, and try to stay strong. With all the climbing, I can really feel it in my knees and my thighs before I started exercising. So I really recommend that. This time of year, it's important to stay excited, start bouncing ideas off with your friends and family about deer hunting, maybe some things that they're doing differently. All the YouTubes, the learning curve is so much faster these days. You can learn all this theoretical information. I listen to podcasts, and I look at those podcasts almost like matrix downloads. All the great YouTube channels, the deer hunting books and magazines. A terrific magazine is Deer and Deer Hunting magazine. Just lots of knowledge, terrific writers. Wired to Hunt, Mark Kenyon has a degree in journalism. He interviews these experts, these ranchers, these biologists, these really established hunters that are shooting big buck after big buck every single year. And I love hearing that kind of information. Just try your best to compete only with yourself. Try to be better than you were last year. The learning never stops with deer hunting. And when you can bounce ideas off friends and family without that competitive attitude, boy, the learning, it never stops. If you guys have any questions or comments or even your opinions, even if you don't agree with something that I said and you want a thumbs down, do that. All I ask is, don't just thumbs down and walk away, because that doesn't help anybody. Be sure to voice your opinion, even if it's constructive criticism. I appreciate that. Anybody who takes the time to type their comments, that's awesome. And even if you don't agree with me. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys shoot a deer that you're proud of. Maybe you'll shoot the best buck of your life this year. Good luck this season, and we'll see you on the next video.